Previously on Endangered.
But we care about all endangered species. If we can do something to prevent them going extinct, then so much the better.
Lo chiamo telescopio. Guarda come fa sembrare vicini gli oggetti lontani.
Once this declaration is complete, no doubt it will stop treating other humans as possessions and will treat them as its equals. Ah, who's a cute little human then?
Although I have this feeling that this may have been the last time.
You need to collect a lobster. A what?
Why does my voice sound funny?
You are completely and utterly off your trolley, aren't you?
Teleport me back to the ship.
So, I think you should go back to Earth, make contact via one of the space docks, and take it from there.
Now, I just have a few short questions for you. It won't take long.
Correct.
Yes. Name.
Name of what?
Your name.
Blood.
Surname?
No, Blood.
No. What's your surname?
What's a surname?
The last part of your name.
Odd.
Blood Odd.
Do you have a stammer?
Let's move on, shall we?
Should I go now?
No, I mean, shall we move on to the next question? Occupation.
Mission Commander for the Institute of Space Wildlife Research.
Occupation, Mission Commander, Employer, Institute of Space Wildlife Research. And what duties does this role entail?
I was assigned a 5-year mission.
Oh, like Captain Kirk.
Who?
Never mind. Carry on.
A 5-year mission to investigate human behaviour to determine if there was anything we could do to prevent them going extinct.
Prevent which species from going extinct?
I just said humans.
Humans? Well, you obviously succeeded then. We're still here.
No.
No what?
No, we didn't succeed. We estimate a runaway climate thermal catastrophe within 10 of your Earth years.
Doommongers have been predicting that for longer than anyone can remember. But we're still here.
Mitigating measures have delayed the catastrophe, not prevented it.
You'll be telling me next that they really did use to be polar ice caps.
When I first arrived, there were significant polar ice caps, and sea level was about 50 metres lower than it currently is.
I'm pretty sure the sea level hasn't changed that much in 5 years.
Our years are longer than yours.
Oh.
We arrived in what you called the year 1601.
Really?
We started by examining what we thought were superior, relatively intelligent humans, in the hope we could use them to influence behaviour.
And?
It didn't work.
Aww.
The brightest humans are not that bright, and the majority are complete idiots.
I'm human.
QED.
Huh?
Anyway, having decided influential humans were not useful to us, we decided to perform a deep study on a random sample from birth.
And?
I allowed myself to become emotionally attached to the subject.
Oh, how sweet. And was it a boy or a girl?
Yes.
Which?
Both.
Ah, non-binary.
It was male for the first 98 of your years, and when that body failed, we cloned a female replacement.
Do this a lot, do you?
What?
Cloning opposite gender bodies.
Gender reassignment is used to maintain the correct balance for the perfect marriage.
And was this man about to get married at 98?
No, I already said. His body failed. But I had become emotionally attached. Cloning the replacement body was an error of judgment. Initially, I sought to hide it, but then I thought I might be able to utilise the situation.
And how is that?
I thought I could use his notoriety to help get our message across.
And?
It didn't work.
So you came here?
No. I decided to go home and leave this planet to its fate. But then I was persuaded to come here.
By whom?
Our subject human.
Well, Mr. Blood Odd, I'll talk to my superiors to see if I can get you an appointment.
Superiors? Appointment? I thought you would be able to initiate an action plan to avert the climate catastrophe.
No, I'm personal assistant to the head of the Space Corps. I filter those who seek an audience, and if I feel it's appropriate, I'll try and schedule an appointment over the next few months.
This is hopeless. Teleport me back to the ship.
Well, that was rude.
It doesn't happen very often, but I'm angry.
So what do you want to do now?
Prepare the irradiation ray.
What?
What's an irradiation ray?
This is not what Boss tasked us to do.
You've seen the scientific modelling. They will all be dead soon anyway.
What's an irradiation ray?
Yes, but...
So let's put them out of their misery.
What's an irradiation ray?
It's a simple method of euthanizing all life forms on the planet.
You can't do that.
The human does have a point. Boss will not approve.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you have the power to effect planet-wide changes?
Yes,
So you could cool the whole planet?
yes,
And wouldn't that avert, or at least delay, this runaway climate thermal catastrophe?
yes.
There would be consequences. Many life forms would perish because they would not be able to adapt to the drop in temperature.
But many would survive,
Yes.
and most, if not all, species would survive.
Yes.
Well, that strikes me as a preferable outcome, rather than killing everything. Didn't you say your boss wants to avoid extinction?
Yes.
It has a point.
Maybe I was letting my temper get the better of me. Prepare the irradiation ray. Setting cool.
This is BNN. Good evening. It's Saturday the 7th of June 2481, and this is the 6 o'clock news. Scientists are still unable to explain the sudden drop in global temperatures just over 6 months ago. Crops have failed throughout the world, causing major food shortages. Military action has broken out in many parts of the world, as attempts are made to seize the few remaining areas of productive agricultural land. Cannibalism has been legalised in most territories, as the flesh of those who have already succumbed to starvation remains the only viable food source for many. Many diseases which had been considered virtually eradicated, such as typhus, cholera and dysentery, have now returned in major outbreaks in many parts of the world, The significant drop in sea levels has been explained as being due to the transfer of approximately 50 million cubic kilometres of seawater to the newly formed Antarctic ice cap and Northern Hemisphere glaciers. In related news, a group of archaeologists who were celebrating the exposure of ancient settlements, revealed by the drop in sea levels, have been shot for being too happy.
I'm worried about what might be happening back home. Do you think things will be okay?
Yes, there will be no more than some minor inconvenience.
Good. I'd hate to think that people are suffering.
Tell me again why it is here.
He is unique among humans. He will live long enough to make the journey to home. This will allow Boss to meet a human.
Why do you think Boss would want to do that?
Boss is obviously interested in this species. So what could be better than bringing a specimen for direct study?
Excuse me?
What?
Earlier you told me I would be your guest, and now you're referring to me as a specimen. That's not very nice. What are you going to do to me?
You will be our guest, but Boss will be interested to meet you and learn from you.
Are you sure?
And what's this about me living long enough to make the journey home? Just how long will this journey take?
It does ask a lot of questions, doesn't it?
The journey will take just over 3 years. We will get to home just in time for my daughter's wedding.
Oh, that's nice. It'll be interesting to see a wedding ceremony on your planet.
What makes you think you would be allowed to attend?
Why shouldn't he attend? As father of the bride, I am entitled to invite whomsoever I choose.
Thank you.
Besides, it's traditional to have some form of freak show at the wedding party. As far as I know, no one has ever had an alien freak before.
Not so, thank you.
Why are you so offended? It is a great honour to be the freak at a wedding.
Our cultures are really so different. At least I have something to do for the next 3 years. Educating you about life on Earth. It's amazing how little you learnt in over 800 years.
No, we were only there just over a year.
I thought you said you arrived in the year 1601.
Yes, your year 1601, but our years are longer than yours.
How long?
One of our years is approximately 830 of your years.
So, when you say the journey to your home is going to take 3 years, is that my years or your years?
Our years, of course.
I
think it's broken.
I've been thinking about our guest.
Oh?
I'm beginning to wonder if it was such a good idea to bring him to home.
Oh, you don't say.
It is my daughter's wedding just after we get back. I'm going to introduce Boss to our guest before the wedding, just in case he doesn't approve.
Isn't it a bit late to be thinking about that? It's good to be back at home.
It's funny. I kind of miss Earth.
Well, I don't. I'm glad to see the back of that awful place. If you ask me, most humans are irritating pests. We should have left them to their self-imposed fate.
Oh, come on. Even you ended up admitting Mr. Taylor wasn't too bad.
Well, maybe. But you have to admit it was hard work trying to get any sense out of most of them.
True. I don't suppose their short lifespan helps. They don't live long enough to fully understand anything. They are still nowhere near producing anything resembling a working interstellar photon drive, or the necessary time dilation manipulator.
I think you are forgetting your science history from school. Our scientists and engineers took 12 years to progress from basic space flight to our current technology. In fact, we have been gone 5 years. This ship is probably so outdated it is ready for the scrap heap.
So you think humans could get there one day?
Well, I wouldn't go that far. Are you not pleased to be back at home?
I have to go to the Institute tomorrow morning. I hope I don't bump into Boss. I'm dreading seeing him.
I can't think why.
It's my daughter's wedding the following day.
I know. You keep banging on about it.
Do you think I should tell Boss about the human before the wedding?
Did you not mention it in your interim report?
I didn't mention the specifics of Mr. Taylor.
That's a significant omission.
I did mention the forced cooling we applied just before we left.
He should regard that favourably. It did prevent the predicted mass extinction.
I could do without seeing Boss before the wedding.
Has Boss been invited to the wedding?
Yes, I wish he hadn't been, but he is a close friend of one of the other bride's fathers.
Well then, it's better to deal with these details tomorrow, rather than Boss learning about them at the wedding.
I suppose you are right.
Is everything ready for the wedding?
Almost. But I am having trouble with my wedding poem.
What's wrong with it?
I'm having trouble making it rhyme.
Read it to me, maybe I can help.
All right, here goes. And now it is your wedding day, your union to complete, and I am going to have to pay for all your guests to eat. But before we sit down for the feast, the service will be stonking, and once that important phase has ceased, you can start the socializing. I'm struggling with that last line. Can you think of anything better?
What? No, just leave it as it is.
So, you think it is okay?
Adequate is the word I would use.
Adequate. I think that's the story of my life.
Don't be so hard on yourself. Cheer up. You have the wedding to look forward to. Forget all your problems. The wedding will be a wonderful celebration.
Blood, come in here. Welcome back to home, Blood.
Thank you, Boss.
I am looking forward to having a full report on your mission.
There are some details I need to discuss with you now.
Nonsense. The interim report will do for the time being.
But I want to introduce you to someone.
Will that someone be at the wedding?
Well, yes.
Then you can introduce me there. But for now, you can take leave until after your daughter's wedding.
Thank you, Boss.
What is distracting you, Blood?
Your calendar, Boss.
Ah, yes. Things have changed whilst you've been away. Things have become much more liberal.
But they're having a twosome. It's not natural.
You really are very old-fashioned, Blood. You need to learn to be more tolerant.
Yes, Boss.
Did you speak to Blood since our return?
Only briefly. I have been far too busy for a full debriefing. However, I did read Blood's interim report.
And you're happy with it?
Well, it is disappointing about the climate catastrophe, but there wasn't much you could do about that.
So?
You win some, you lose some. We can't protect all endangered species.
But...
Look, here's Bet. Doesn't he look beautiful in his bridal dress? And what an amazing little freak. I've never seen one that size and colour before. Do you know what freak Blood is bringing?
Well,
What on home is that?
Well,
That's the most amazing freak I've ever seen. Where did Blood get it?
Well, It's a human.
Human? Like on Earth? That's not possible. They have ridiculously short lifespans. Unless... You didn't bring back a menagerie, did you?
Well...
What is that awful noise? It is called music. Humans make this noise at their weddings. Well, it is awful. Stop it immediately.
Daddy, you ruined my wedding.
But Belle...
Hello, I'm Chris.
Your freak speaks. Did you train it to do this?
I'm not a freak, and I learnt to speak long before I met you.
That's not strictly true. Blood monitored you from birth.
He did what?
At first we tried to identify superior humans, whose behaviour we could influence. When that didn't work, Blood decided to monitor a random human from birth.
And how could that human possibly be here now?
When the body failed, Blood decided to clone a new one, which would last longer.
What did he do?
He added DNA from an Earth creature with extended longevity, and also changed the gender.
Gender reassignment is only allowed to maintain the gender balance in marriage. This creature is illegal. It must be destroyed.
What?
But boss, it is not the creature's fault. And it did provide the solution to prevent the humans becoming extinct, which was what you wanted us to do.
Perhaps I did overreact. Nevertheless, it is an illegal alien, and hence must be deported back to its legal place of residence.
Thank you.
Here we go again.
We're just dropping it off and coming straight back. It'll only be 6 years.
I'm not sure I can cope with another 2,665-year journey. What do you suppose it'll be like back on Earth by the time we return? It'll be over 5,000 years since we left.
Who cares?
Think of all the advances they will have made. It'll be so different.
This is ENN. Good evening. It's Sunday the 30th of July 7820, and this is the 6 o'clock news. Representatives from the UK and EU have resumed negotiations on a free trade deal. A joint statement stated that both sides are confident an agreement can be reached soon. The team captain of England, who were defeated on penalties in yesterday's World Cup final, has issued the following statement. The spirit of 1966 lives on. We will fight back stronger. An investigation has been launched into the latest set of voter fraud allegations surrounding the 2020 US presidential election. A spokesman for the Trump family said, "The truth will come out one day." The UN's peace envoy has departed for the Middle East. It is hoped to be able to resume the stalled negotiations between Israel and the Palestinian Authority. Series 200 of The Crown will premiere this coming Saturday, the 10th of June. Shares in anti-social media platform Outrage continue to climb, making it now the most valuable company in the world.